Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, or the right moment. But the truth is simple. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will stay inconsistent. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what creates real progress. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build by forcing yourself to act even when you do not feel like it. It is choosing effort over comfort. It is choosing progress over excuses. The people who move forward in life are not always the most talented. They are the ones who train themselves to do what needs to be done, even when it feels difficult. In this video, you will learn how to force yourself to build discipline and create habits that move your life forward. Step 1. Accept discomfort. Discipline begins the moment you stop running away from discomfort. Most people naturally move toward what feels easy and away from what feels difficult. Comfort feels safe, relaxing, and familiar. Because of this, the mind constantly tries to protect you from effort. It tells you to wait, to delay, or to choose the easier option. But real progress almost always requires doing things that feel uncomfortable at first. When you start accepting discomfort, your mindset begins to change. Instead of seeing difficulty as something negative, you start seeing it as a normal part of growth. Discomfort becomes a signal that you are pushing beyond your usual limits. It shows that you are challenging yourself instead of staying stuck in the same place. This shift is important because discipline grows when you stop reacting emotionally to difficulty. If every uncomfortable moment makes you want to quit, your progress will always stop early. But when you accept discomfort, you remove its power over your decisions. You understand that feeling resistance does not mean you should stop. It simply means you are doing something that requires effort. Accepting discomfort also strengthens your mental resilience. Every time you continue despite resistance, you prove to yourself that you are capable of doing more than you thought. Your confidence slowly grows because you are building evidence through action. The mind begins to trust your ability to push forward, even when things feel challenging. Over time, the things that once felt difficult start to feel normal. Tasks that used to require a lot of effort begin to feel easier because your brain adapts to repeated exposure. This is how discipline develops. What was once uncomfortable becomes routine, and what once felt impossible becomes manageable. When you accept discomfort as part of the process, you stop fighting the reality of growth. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you move toward it with purpose. That mindset is the foundation of real discipline. Step 2. Control your excuses. Excuses are one of the biggest obstacles to discipline. The mind is extremely creative when it wants to avoid effort. It can quickly produce many reasons to delay action. These reasons may sound reasonable in the moment, but their real purpose is often to protect comfort. The mind prefers what feels easy, so it tries to justify avoiding what feels difficult. These excuses usually appear at the exact moment when action is required. You may suddenly feel tired, distracted, or uncertain. Your mind may suggest waiting for a better moment or a better mood. The problem is that these moments of delay slowly weaken your commitment. Each time you accept an excuse, you train your brain to believe that comfort is more important than progress. Controlling your excuses means becoming aware of this pattern. You begin to notice when your mind is trying to escape effort. Instead of automatically accepting the excuse, you pause and question it. You remind yourself that discipline requires action even when comfort is calling you in another direction. When you shift your focus from excuses to responsibility, your mindset becomes stronger. Instead of asking why something feels difficult, you remind yourself why it matters. Purpose becomes stronger than temporary discomfort. This shift changes your behavior because your attention moves away from avoidance and toward progress. The more you challenge your excuses, the weaker they become. Your brain slowly learns that excuses will no longer control your decisions. Over time, this creates a powerful mental habit. Instead of negotiating with your responsibilities, you begin to act immediately. That is how discipline grows. Not by eliminating difficulty, but by refusing to let excuses decide your actions. Step 3. Start before you feel ready. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most common traps people fall into. Many believe they need the right mood, the right energy, or the perfect conditions before they begin. They tell themselves they will start when they feel more motivated or when everything feels clear. But the truth is that this perfect moment almost never arrives. If you depend on motivation to begin, you will often remain stuck in preparation instead of progress. Discipline works in the opposite way. It asks you to act first, even when your feelings are not fully aligned. When you start before you feel ready, you teach your brain a powerful lesson: action is more important than emotion. Instead of letting your mood control your behavior, you decide that your commitment will guide your actions. At the beginning, this may feel uncomfortable. Your mind may resist because it prefers certainty and comfort. But once you take the first step, something important happens. Action creates movement, and movement creates momentum. Momentum makes the next step easier than the first. What felt heavy at the start slowly becomes lighter as you continue. Starting early also builds confidence. Each time you begin without waiting for the perfect feeling, you prove to yourself that you can move forward regardless of hesitation. This proof strengthens your belief in your own discipline. You begin to trust that progress does not require perfect motivation. It only requires a decision to begin. Over time, this habit changes your entire mindset. Instead of waiting for motivation, you rely on commitment. Instead of delaying action, you move forward immediately. The simple decision to start becomes a powerful tool because it breaks the cycle of hesitation. That is why disciplined people focus on beginning, not on feeling ready. They understand that progress belongs to those who take action first and allow motivation to follow later. Step 4. Stay consistent daily. Discipline is not built in one big moment of effort. It is built through small actions repeated every single day. Many people believe they need to make huge changes to become disciplined, but the truth is much simpler. Discipline grows when you show up consistently, even when the effort seems small. What matters most is not the size of the action, but the regularity of it. When you repeat the same positive behavior daily, your brain begins to adapt. At first, it may feel like you are forcing yourself. You may feel resistance or a lack of motivation. But the more often you repeat the action, the more familiar it becomes. Your brain starts recognizing the activity as part of your routine rather than something unusual or difficult. Consistency is powerful because it transforms effort into habit. A habit reduces the need for constant decision-making. Instead of asking yourself whether you should act, you simply follow the routine you have created. This saves mental energy and makes discipline easier to maintain over time. Daily consistency also strengthens your identity. Every time you show up and follow through, you reinforce the idea that you are someone who keeps commitments. This internal belief becomes stronger with repetition. The more evidence you create through your actions, the more confident you become in your ability to stay disciplined. Another important benefit of consistency is momentum. When actions are repeated regularly, progress becomes steady. Even small improvements accumulate over time. What once seemed like a small effort begins to produce noticeable results because it has been practiced without interruption. Discipline grows when action becomes a normal part of your day rather than something you do occasionally. By staying consistent, you train your mind to expect effort instead of hesitation. Over time, discipline stops feeling like something you must force and starts feeling like the natural way you operate. Step 5. Strengthen your self-control. Self-control is the ability to guide your behavior instead of letting your impulses guide you. Every day, your mind faces many small temptations that try to pull your attention away from what truly matters. These distractions may appear harmless in the moment, but when they happen repeatedly, they weaken your discipline. Without self-control, your focus becomes scattered, and progress becomes slow and inconsistent. Strengthening self-control begins with awareness. You start noticing the moments when your mind tries to escape effort. These moments often appear when a task becomes difficult or when something easier and more comfortable appears. If you react automatically to these impulses, your actions become controlled by temporary feelings instead of long-term goals. Self-control requires learning to pause before reacting. That small pause is powerful because it creates space between the impulse and your decision. Instead of immediately following the easier option, you give yourself a moment to think about what truly matters. In that moment, you remind yourself of your priorities and the direction you want your life to move toward. Each time you choose focus instead of distraction, you strengthen your self-control. It may feel challenging at first because your brain naturally prefers comfort and quick rewards. But with repetition, your mind becomes stronger. The more often you resist distractions, the more natural discipline begins to feel. Self-control also improves your ability to stay present and committed to your responsibilities. Instead of constantly shifting your attention, you remain engaged with the task in front of you. This deeper focus increases productivity and makes your effort more meaningful. Over time, strong self-control becomes part of your character. You begin to trust yourself more because you know your actions are guided by purpose rather than impulse. This trust builds confidence and strengthens your overall discipline. Step 6. Build mental toughness. Discipline requires mental toughness because difficult moments are unavoidable. No matter how motivated you feel at the beginning, there will always be moments when your energy drops, your focus weakens, or the task in front of you feels heavier than expected. During those moments, the mind naturally searches for relief. It suggests stopping, delaying, or choosing something easier. Mental toughness is the ability to recognize this reaction and continue moving forward anyway. Mental toughness is not about never feeling tired or never feeling doubt. It is about refusing to let those feelings decide your actions. Everyone experiences resistance when facing effort or challenge. The difference is how people respond to it. When your mind says something is too difficult, mental toughness reminds you that difficulty is temporary and that progress often happens during those uncomfortable moments. Training your mind to stay strong during difficulty builds resilience. Resilience means your mindset does not collapse when things become challenging. Instead of reacting with frustration or discouragement, you stay steady and focused. You understand that struggle is a normal part of improvement. This understanding reduces fear and helps you continue even when the situation feels demanding. Each time you push through resistance, your mental strength increases. Your brain learns that discomfort is not a reason to quit. It becomes evidence that you are pushing your limits and developing your abilities. With repetition, this process builds confidence because you begin to trust your ability to handle pressure and continue working despite challenges. Mental toughness also improves your emotional stability. When you become mentally strong, you are less affected by temporary setbacks or difficult moments. Instead of losing focus, you maintain your direction and keep your attention on what truly matters. This steady mindset protects your discipline and keeps your progress moving forward. Over time, building mental toughness changes how you see challenges. What once felt overwhelming begins to feel manageable. Situations that once made you want to stop now become opportunities to strengthen your character. This shift transforms discipline from something that feels forced into something that feels natural and powerful. Step 7. Focus on long-term growth. One of the biggest challenges to discipline is the attraction of short-term comfort. The human mind naturally prefers what feels good right now. It looks for quick satisfaction, easy rewards, and immediate relief from effort. Because of this, many people make decisions based only on the present moment. They choose what feels comfortable today without thinking about the long-term consequences. Discipline grows when you change this perspective. Instead of focusing only on what feels good now, you begin thinking about the future you want to build. You start asking yourself a different question: will this action help me grow in the long run? This shift in thinking makes your decisions clearer and more intentional. When your attention moves toward long-term growth, your priorities begin to change. Temporary comfort becomes less important than meaningful progress. You become more patient because you understand that real improvement takes time. You stop expecting instant results and start appreciating the value of consistent effort. This perspective also strengthens your commitment. When you clearly see the direction you want your life to move toward, it becomes easier to stay disciplined. Your actions are no longer random or based on mood. They become part of a larger purpose. Every small effort feels meaningful because it is connected to something bigger than the present moment. Focusing on long-term growth also helps you stay calm during difficult periods. When progress feels slow, you remind yourself that discipline is a process, not a single moment of effort. You trust that consistent work will eventually produce results. This belief keeps you steady and prevents you from quitting too early. Over time, this mindset changes the way you approach challenges and opportunities. Instead of chasing quick satisfaction, you begin building habits that support your future. This shift strengthens your discipline because your daily actions are guided by vision rather than temporary feelings. Step 8. Take action no matter what. At the core of discipline is one simple principle: act regardless of how you feel. Feelings change constantly. Some days you feel motivated, focused, and ready to work. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or uninterested. If your actions depend only on your feelings, your progress will always be unstable. You will move forward when motivation appears and stop when it disappears. Discipline removes this instability by changing the rule you follow. Instead of asking yourself whether you feel like acting, you decide that the action will happen anyway. This shift is powerful because it separates your behavior from your temporary emotions. Your feelings may still change from day to day, but your commitment stays the same. When you begin acting regardless of mood, you train your brain to prioritize responsibility over comfort. At first, this may feel difficult because the mind is used to following whatever feels easiest in the moment. But each time you act despite resistance, you strengthen your ability to stay focused on what truly matters. Action also builds confidence. Every time you follow through on your commitment, you create evidence that you are reliable and disciplined. This evidence slowly changes the way you see yourself. You stop seeing discipline as something you struggle with and begin seeing it as part of your identity. Over time, this pattern becomes natural. You no longer waste energy debating whether you should act. The decision has already been made. Your role is simply to follow through. This clarity removes hesitation and keeps your progress steady. When action becomes independent from your feelings, discipline becomes stronger and more stable. You move forward even when motivation is low, and that consistency is what creates lasting growth. Discipline is the difference between talking about goals and actually achieving them. Anyone can feel motivated for a short time, but discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It is the decision to continue, even when things feel difficult, even when comfort tries to pull you in another direction. Every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen your character. Every time you stay consistent, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. Discipline is built step by step, through daily effort and repeated commitment. The more you practice it, the stronger your mindset becomes. Your future is shaped by the actions you take today. If you learn to control your habits and force yourself to stay disciplined, you take control of your progress and your direction in life. And if this video helped you understand the power of discipline, make sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue building the mindset that moves your life forward.